Colors and promises, how to be brave, how can I love when I'm afraid?
It's a short reading this week from Song of Songs, but what a reading, right? Arise, my love, my fair one, and come away. The Song of Songs offers us the opportunity to see passionate love become sacred as an expression of beauty when we read it into worship, which notably isn't often. One commentator has made the claim that were it not for the Song of Songs, we might conclude that we have to choose between a culture that understands only myopic romance and a faith that leaves no room for romance. Thus, the Song of Songs, the Song of Solomon, the Canticle of the Canticles, choose your name, offers us a bridge between the human lives that we lead and a value that tells us that God, who has declared creation good, is love, and in the love that we share with our partners, our companions in this world. To be in love with someone is to find your being tied up with your beloved, to want to be where they are, to want good things for your partner, to know that you're needed and wanted and expected to share the same power with each other. True love is experienced when there's no hypocrisy and has an equity of sharing. Partner love is an expression of divine commitment when it brings forth a full sharing with each other. And so it's a reminder that if we have the capacity to love one another so fully, so too must God have that capacity for all of us. The question is how the Song of Songs found a place in the biblical canon for either the Jews or the Christians. It's likely to occur immediately to anyone who has read through the text. Read on its own terms as love poetry, rather than through the lens of tradition, it stands as a frankly secular poem, depicting the deepening affections and passions between two young lovers. There's no mention of God. There's no explicit theological themes. So in truth, this book is often overlooked, and only this one 5-verse passage appears in the lectionary once every 3 years in year B as an alternate first reading. And yet, the Song of Songs is the first of the 5 scrolls, with the books of Ruth, Lamentations, Ecclesiastes, and Esther, which are read at major Jewish holidays. The Song of Songs scroll is read during the festival of the Passover, celebrating God's deliverance of the Israelites from slavery in Egypt. It's used as a way of understanding the festival of Passover as God's expression of love to the people. Passionate, covenantal love of God that sought to protect the people from enslavement, abuse, and oppression. When seen through this perspective, the love of partner is not just an added bonus to life, but a way of living that is fully invested in the existence of both partners. By including the Song of Songs and the coming 3-week journey into the book of Proverbs, the lectionary offers us a time to meditate on these wisdom texts of our scripture, on love, the divine, and how we might live in the created world. And they're told through a particularly poetic lens. While the theological themes of these books, particularly the song, have sometimes been overlooked or minimized, there's a lot of fruit that we can take from them with some investment. The story of the song is as a piece of literature that is undeniably human, and yet it speaks beyond, or perhaps above, the earthliness of human love into a vertical space of holy wisdom about love. In general, the books of the Bible that are seen as wisdom literature, Job, Psalm, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Songs are known for offering practical advice to the readers. But practical doesn't just mean ungodly or secular. Biblical wisdom material highlights free choice. That means it's about how we choose to live. It emphasizes human will and folds those choices within the created order of life in which God rules and prevails. Within this description, the song's love poetry strives to teach us something about the choices we make in life and in love, and how we might live faithfully in the world created. It's written as a dialogue between a couple, both having a voice, which, let's be honest, is revolutionary in some ways, as it is still not common, but particularly in Scripture, to offer an equal voice to a female partner of an intimate connection. And her feelings, her experiences are not downplayed, but offered equal strength throughout the 8-chapter dialogue love poem. And we won't have time to delve deeper into it here in worship, but as I've been saying for weeks now, the Song of Songs is a text to explore, to take out that Bible at some point and read through entirety, particularly in places where love and relationships and bodily control are not seen as equally valued. In a time of division, the Song of Songs offers us a coming together. Throughout the whole of the story, as we have seen in some of the short reading we have heard today, the images are really very seasonal. They're very earthly. The smells, sights, sounds of spring in particular dance throughout the text. The allusions and the metaphors come of fruit and animals and flowers and trees in an appeal to those senses. There's a focus, too, on the wildness of those spaces, the freedom that love can offer. It's often not a highly structured garden or a perfect row of vegetables that are envisioned, but a wild tree or a wild bird, a fox, that are welcomed to be seen in the mind's eye. These and other images in the song are, of course, specific to that particular time and culture of the writers, and sometimes they don't translate as well into another era. And while we heard it today from the New Revised Standard Version Updated Edition, a quick glance at other versions can give us new words to hear the poetry, new images that might point more closely to our visions of beauty or the value and desire in our lives. For example, the Message version offers, "Look at him there on tiptoe at the gate," rather than peeping through a lattice, which actually would have been up high in the building. So it was a feat of strength to reach it. But what is critical to remember is that as poetry, it's designed to be exceedingly visual and sensory. We're meant to feel a part of the world building when we listen to the poetry, to place ourselves in the place of those who speak, to remember when we have been a part of or have been looking for companions with this amount of investment in each other, to know that you are there and you are holy. What is striking about the way the relationship is presented is that it's not concerned with social control or matters of marriage as a means to reproduction, but simply as a way to express love and relationship that's important for your daily living. Rather than reminding us, generations of people, God's promises of descendants, this is a story that says God is in the moment of pleasure and love. Love can and should be invigorating, wonderful, powerful. Taken with our gospel reading, Jesus' clap back to religious authorities who sought to overly control those who traveled with Jesus. We're told that it is from the human heart that evil intentions come. The wickedness of our hearts is what defiles us. So this Song of Songs acts as a counterpoint to that evil that we can also do from our hearts. And we are asked for the choice. Do you choose freedom and equality and playfulness of love to come from your heart? Or do you choose jealousy and bitterness and selfishness to be what you are known for? We have the capacity for power hungriness, and we have the capacity for mutual triumph. Which our scriptures are asking us, will we choose? If we choose the life of relationship and companionship that is romantic and divine love, we choose a way that finds voice in the Song of Songs and beckons us to find God present in everything that is beautiful. All things bright and beautiful, right? God made them all in nature, in relationship, in everything and everyone, in the structures that we live, in the systems that we do engage with. If they honor difference and diversity, they are godly. Without the explicitness of naming God in the scripture, or of a heavy-handed interpretation of which God is partner when the church is the other partner, the song makes room for us to engage the question, does God need to be named for one to know God is present? Is God present if we have not named them in this moment now? And if the answer is yes, then the partnership at the center of the song makes room for God in union, God becoming manifest in the attitudes and the postures that honor others, that honor the goodness of who another person is. God is present and reveals God's self in and through everyone who honors and celebrates difference, is respectful of women and men and those of other gender identities, who offers their own individuality to a waiting world knowing their own value, who revels in their createdness as an image, as a child of God. And from that stance of loving relationship with God, with self, with earthly partners, we hear, "Arise, my love, my fair one," and come into this moment, this day, this life that you are a part of. Arise, my love, and live your love.